So let's talk about what you need to know for this test tomorrow. First block, I went through all this with you in class. Fourth block, this is for you so that you get an idea of what are the concepts and how are they going to be covered on the test. Okay, first step is the scientific method. You need to know the steps of the scientific method, what happens at each step, so like a general description and how you would use that in a real life situation in the lab. Also being able to give examples, like if I ask you to write a hypothesis or if I ask you to do a data analysis, you need to be able to do that. So that's the scientific method. Technical design, you need to know the steps. There's 4 steps of the technical design, a brief description of each one, and how that kind of played out when we did our product bell ringer the other day. You got a feel for, how the steps, how you kind of walked through the steps, and so you need to be prepared to be able to do that. Then you need to be able to compare and contrast those two. Like if I asked you to do a Venn diagram like what was in the notes, how are they similar and how are they different? So maybe go back and even review that piece of it. Analyzing data. In the packet, we've done building tables, graphs, charts, that whole thing, so you definitely want to make sure you're comfortable with that. Making a title on a graph. Remember, it's not just as simple as X versus Y, which is how how you've made tables in the past. It needs to be a full statement that clearly describes what it is that has been manipulated and how it's been how the results have been recorded. So definitely elaborate on explaining what is your X and your Y in that graph, as well as maybe the general trend. I mean, was it a positive result or was it a negative result? Graphs, definitely know what graphs to use when. So when do you use a line graph? Change versus time or change over time. When do you use a bar graph? When you're comparing items to each other. When do you use a pie or a circle? When you're comparing part to a whole, for instance. Let me do it.